Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the so in the review of Daniel. This is going to be your a cool horror skill. I do Las Vegas on reviewing thoughts, and I have to actually say that this show just after our SmackDown on Friday night was a good palette for and they got at the stage of the Saudi announcement, maybe not entirely, but it did to some degree. And yeah, it's just unfortunate that TKO's placing the WWE tickets is going to increase again, and I, I just feel like um like a triple A in WWE or a show such as Worlds Collide would be a fun experience, but with the ticket price these being increased again, um I seriously doubt that'll be a feasible option. But in terms of the card itself, I don't think it was as strong as Triple Mania or the first. Um, on the on the first Orochimaru, or the first two Orochimaru, who had often did that excuse me. But yeah, there was a couple of matches. There was a couple of matches that should have been a bit it should have been a bit longer, that were only 9 minutes each, and it was just that was the only kind of real frustrating part of the show. But I'll get into the garden now. So we opened so he opened things up with a parka mascaritas a garada. He's dropped the junior part of his name for some reason, and the Aztec warriors yeah, Laredo Kid and Octagon Junior going up against the Latino Harold Ordo out of Del Oro and Akin Ayo, and your tag partner as are insider of of these days, and he'll be his Monegro. Oh, now this match is a showcase of what Lucha Libre is meant to be, like fast tags, etc. And it was basically like you had the combination of kind of cruiserweight based wrestler Alison Tomb, and he wrestled as obviously my Sagrada is probably the most famous Mexican man there is. Many of these from what I can gather as his greatest or rival. So yeah, you saw like what's a fast paced action. Ascarita Sagrada has still or basically he is absolutely amazing. He appeared in the company in 97 and a bit during the mid 2000s. He had a spell on going which are underground. So the guy has been around a bit, and obviously, yeah, it's a good way to start the show. Obviously, is you have even, and you have even, and you be small, kind of take on the cruiser with Triple H champion, Laredo Kid, Laredo Kid was bouncing about like a bandit, or you had you had them Cruz del Toro and Akin, you'd have a good showing. Cruz del Toro did a spin and then Hawksbrew on the outside of that the real nice. But obviously the victory does go to Laredo Kids side um as um mum scary ita saka or dad as the head such as also once again and he rolls up and he rolls up and he's smooth for the victory at 18 minutes and 4 seconds. Everybody got a good amount of offense. Of course, you have the intro. Of course, you have the version of the third park. He was on Laredo Kids side. Etc. He was introduced to last year to Triple A, so fun match and a good opening match, but now we get to one of the shorter matches in the card. So we have Natalia defeating Fabia Patchy in the number one contenders match for the Reigns championship. This went half the time in the first match, and actually I do prefer this new look Natalia. It gives her a new I'm ancient and it gives her something different to do or rather than teaming up with Maxine Dupree all the time. That in my opinion is getting a bit stale, but I prefer this key legend um she's got here um and she defeated Fabio Pache 9 minutes and 12 seconds. This match I felt could have went for a couple of minutes on, on or because I think what they were trying to go for or heal with is a more sort of art-based style technical match. Those generally come in around those generally come in around a 10-minute mark, 'cause that's and a bit short of that. And then or and for what it ended up as, I thought it was okay, but what killed it, what killed it was a short time war. I mean, you had both, you had both wrestle as exchange of mission holds, like, try the funny, should match sees Fabio actually attempt Natalia's sharp shooter, but she was able to counter it, and her old Fabio actually up the two who came to was again after the match, and yeah, it's very obvious that this view who doesn't over and the build up. And the build up to this number 1 contenders match, Natalia actually lost Apache her her or in the WWE tournament that I'm not really fussed about, to be honest, but yeah, it is what it is. That was on NXT heading into this. But overall, I just kinda hoped that this would be a bit long, and unfortunately we didn't get that. In the back though, you do get a couple of promos. You saw this her Omo Dominic Mysterio in the back talking to Vero Rodriguez, who incidentally is who incidentally is the wife of Finn Balor, and uh, and then comes the Remus, and then comes the Remus Mysterio, or and comes the Remus Mysterio that basically the two of them have a conversation about or Mysterio or isn't the hand a dominant, and he can Dominic wants to rub his nose in it with, and he beats for I can go for the title, and and essentially and essentially from essentially from I'll joins the conversation. He says to Dominic and he says to Dominic, good door. Dominic says I need to do this on own, and he he actually he actually is basically he is basically going for cheated by Arrow, um which is obviously he has a season review. I and I have to actually say I commend you. I commend you. Oh, she has actually worked this. So he, so he basically, so he basically, he was from Aero, and yeah, and before we get to the next match in the card, Xavier would actually tells us, actually he tells Trey Martinez, for for all the reason, the reason, the reason why Grayson is taking his spot in the tag match tonight. Eight women and they was up against Emma, and the new thing was up against the side was up against and on cycle owned for the tag, for the tag. Else, at six, like the match itself is 16 minutes and 54 seconds, but in any case, the reason why Xavier says he gave his spot up to Grayson was because because enter Hiroki's neck if the Mexican dish or your pile rivalry as he says he had to get a change and so actually it just carries on it just carries on the feud to FMP and over on the main Raw or or also gives him an excuse as to get out of the tag match against the like Osaka is as he's got a few like pounds. So yeah, that's so that's my match. I thought it's a very good match. Here a good offense for all the AAA tag team champions began on cycle own who knocked off who knocked off who knocked off the guards as it Triple Mania and and uh, I thought they knew gave a good account of themselves. Xavier would turn Kofi Kingston probably wrestled the best match at 2025 here, and there was a couple of kills there was a couple of kills I've actually posted the stuff as Grayson. Oh, I'm not Xavier Woods, but anyway, there was a couple of kills near falls. You had a spot with Kingston and Gary, um, yeah, Kingston and Gary, can go up to the top, for top rope and foul, Rocks. Well, she's but Pagano is able to pick himself up off the canvas. She, you had a spot, here, Gary Eason decides to try and rip the mask off of, Psycho. Oh, but Psycho owner ups the mask off himself. The champs do suicide to drives onto the new and then Psycho owned the also the rolls up Einstein for the victory. But the story of the match here, the story of the match here ends up being the I get six after the match, and they come out. The current SmackDown WWE Tag Team Champions, and then they come out and they destroy the Psycho Circus. It's the enter of Errol Rodriguez having um having a speech to the having a post match interview. Again, it's in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. Again, he had he had an interview with Penn just before the start of the first match. Again in Spanish. That's what I didn't really over it. But anyway, the I-6 amount this or ride cycles or case it kinda confused me here a bit because the cycle circus have two other members like other clown and Eve the clown, but no, none of the two of them, none of the two of them came out. It helps or Paul with them both of the I-6 amount to destroy them. It was a 6-ton situation, and you'd have thought maybe the other two with the amount to assist, but obviously and it's very it's very obvious that I think we'll get the Psycho Circus versus the I get six and three. But I'm not very big on the I get six anymore. I think the time has passed them from myself. One of the action and the Psycho Circus are a pretty good tag team, so I don't want want the Psycho Circus to lose the AAA tag team championships. Of course, I've got the I gets axe hoisting up both tag team titles. Else some maybe it's a sort of unification. Um, maybe it's a sort of a unification style. Appealation. And yeah, that's my yeah, that's when that kinda reinvent um it kinda reinvent Uncle how his um action of and it kinda made to the more like badass, but it's a bit too from he and yeah, and Psycho. Oh, and then Gargano did get a good title defense up against the New Day. So yeah, no, nothing really to complain about that. Then we get then we get to probably one of my favourite matches of the card. Here, you get all of Ice and Mr. Gill and up against Finn and Balor or Ox Sanper Perez. They're accompanied by Kel Rodriguez. And yeah, I thought that's I thought that's actually is actually pretty. I thought this match was actually pretty on. You see, you see everybody getting a lot of good offense, and as always is you see instead of get what I know of yes. I just love that. I just love that. And I carries with them. You have Finn Balor, you have Finn Balor bringing out the Imani who tries to eat MJF because because Finn Balor sees her apparently. I know this movie, yes. And you can actually see Van Baal are actually saying to the Imani it too and he first appear he'll won't come out to tell you you're going to get hurt but as soon as it's um as soon as and hangs out his puppet demon Ito, he obviously takes it a yes. So and so and um, uh, except try to still get demon Ito on his hand, but then he decides to tie the demon Ito to his back. He goes for the with the grass. But but it and was um I give and was out the a bit when it on Raquel Jericho is try ice tickle or that the Shara action is a bit maybe faces actually get the upper hand on the heel on the heels, but ice takes era over and and uh, yeah, the funny issue the match sees and the finish of the match see is a more Oxa and Perez on the receipt even into the pin all the back and fast and the back fast from ice gets the and it's to 12 minutes and it's exact and obviously ACG and the are out obviously St Jane at NXT I'll say for the NXT um and championship and then yeah it kinda hypes up the tension and you Uh, and I thought, yeah, and I thought and I thought the right choice here, happened, obviously, Anna and the Ice had to get the victory, here, as obviously, the judgment they have been, um, as obviously the judgment they kinda have been dominating the as sort of figure, and then and then the next match I thought was very disappointing was El Io the Doctor Agna or Junior defeated uh, um defeated Dragon. He Ethan Page and JD McDonough by a pinfall. Um obviously obviously it was a very bad night for the judgment. Yeah, apart from Dominic Mysterio at the end, but we'll get obviously obviously there was there's not enough time obviously there was not enough time or even page to get all of that to get all that much offense in, but sad to but sad to but sad though it was a short it's 9 and it's um um Dragon he and JT McDonough had the majority of the offense and Elio the El Doctor Agno or Junior Soul son at the asthma and it hits a reverse DDT on JD McDonough on a finish off the match and the and the away Platinum American Championship actually is the Doctor Doctor Agnes or Johnny Doctor Agnes Johnny or and yeah it's a if I remember it's a bit of a disappointment considering the rest of us involved in this match and in the main event the Dominic Mysterio defeats Ellie with the Silver King for all the for um yes yes all the triple M and uh championship now this and now as I felt was a better match than the previous all all wasn't falls either aside that you have the Dominic Mysterio getting a babyface reaction like and guilt despite being the babyface in the match gets without the belt. You all know um you all know the significance to the obviously obviously of guys give a good account of themselves, etc. Actually, you know, what the match took oh, is outside the arena, uh, um, outside outside the ring, sorry, and and eventually, um, the finish MC is like and go for the text for he hits it, but he'll get around him. Eric, I know, pulls him off um, the pin attempt and like and or tries to pull get under him and the canoma ask off eyes up because it's all Vic eyes are under them and the canum ask these is obviously the if didn't see the obviously the original ref didn't see the interference as he got whacked it during during the L yes ages yeah you have you have the judgment they come to and pass and dominate the metal yeah the metal oh, that Elecano uses uses on uses on like and grow the combination of the frogs Oh, Ash gets a victory. Obviously, he Mysterio. Obviously, the Mysterio almost down to chase off the Judgment Day, but it's too he as the Dominic Mysterio stand with of the AAA Championship and the IC Championship. It demands a rate. It it demands a it demands or it demands that is the art it's the on era often it as if it's about round this is outcome the judgment day to celebrate but Dominic Mysterio kinda um either of some of any or AC's get and the Americano and the show ends with after the else he shouts down the camera, I'm the king of the world, Ucha does Ucha he prays now the Dominic Mysterio and the show ends and only give this I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 the two she's the only 9 and it's kind of the attracted or on the overall score and yeah those two kind of snag the show but overall I enjoyed um I enjoyed the X tag team I enjoyed the mixed tag team uh, and um I enjoyed the opening uh, uh and I enjoyed again on cycle and defeating Gary Eason oh and um Wolfie I thought that would be a good I thought that would be a good match and obviously in the main event I thought was pretty good. It was just the American Championship match. I felt it was a bit dodgy, and obviously the second and obviously the second match he did a bit more time attached as hell. So so uh, I I felt that a show or I felt that show was pretty decent, but obviously should have come in there and the previous and the previous joint event and the previous joint event and are still on us was but overall I enjoyed it from or it is, and hopefully we see a bit more in these because they are enjoyable, and hopefully we get and hopefully we get some clarification and Dominic is he was the extreme challenger for this triple A championship, and I'll see you over and I'll see you over and I'll see you over Edison or the but okay, I hit the up and the share button and uh, and what's the comment, but try and be respectful, and I'll see you all very soon.